Hello, hello, beautiful people. Leah Brathwaite here. I am so excited to chat with you today. I'll just let Instagram do its thing and tell people. Actually, you know what? I think Instagram's working against me these days. I don't think it's actually telling people that I'm live, but we will see who is available to join in. And we'll go from there. Hello, hello. Hi. As you're jumping on, say hello. Welcome to this space. So, hi, honey. So good to see you. So, I wanted to chat with you today a little bit more about the 5 Sutras because I am thrilled and excited to be offering this brand new experience to you all. And I want to share a little bit about where the idea for it came from, because it's not a new idea. It's not anything that I've even come up with. It was really just inspiration that moved through me. And what inspired me was a few things all at once. Hello, hi, Relind. First of all, my clients who are inside of Soul RX were a huge inspiration for this, because all of these women are incredibly powerful women who have a call in their heart, a mission in their soul that they want to bring out into the world. And they're facing the challenges that anybody who is out in the world sharing things authentically from their heart are facing. All of the old stories, all of the conditioning, all of the patterns that we have in our minds are coming up as challenges that we're moving through as they're coming back into alignment with their soul, their truth, their reason for being. But more than that, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Mark. We recorded a podcast together a few weeks ago, and I'm very excited for that to come out. I think it's coming out in August. But one of the first things that we were chatting about when we jumped on before we hit record was about cancel culture and about how challenging it is to be a voice in the world that is standing for any kind of truth. Hello, hello. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Relind. And the greatest gift that we can offer the world is our fullest, truest expression, because there is no other human available in this time or any other that is going to be able to transmit the energy, the information, the wisdom, the unique frequency that is our own to transmit into the world. But so many of us are finding ourselves challenged to do that because we live in such incredibly wild times. We have polarizing positions. We have information overload. It feels sometimes like there's just so much going on that is overwhelming to move through. And so my original intention with sharing the 5 Sutras was for all of the sensitive souls, all of the heartfelt healers, all of the intuitive visionaries, those who had a mission that they wanted to bring forth into the world, but who felt quieted or afraid or didn't know the right way to go or needed a little bit more support to move through not only their own barriers but the chaos that is all around us. That was my intention for bringing forward the 5 Sutras, because they were instrumental and so powerful for me to dive back into, to remember, and to really embody after I had gone through a really challenging experience with cancel culture. But the more that I thought about it and the more that I felt into it, the more I realized this is an experience that I think everybody needs. Just in the last, 24, 48 hours, like, this is how wild life is right now. Like 150,000 genetically engineered or genetically modified mosquitoes are released somewhere in the United States. There is 3 brand new social media platforms that have millions of subscribers on them within the first couple of hours. And that's on top of everything that is already going on in our world. So we have this huge amount of pressure, this huge amount of energy, this overload of information, this overload of energy, of polarity, of division in our world that we're trying to navigate and trying to make the best of our lives, trying to bring ourselves forward in the most authentic and spirited way. And in the meantime, we're trying to navigate all of these things. I can't say this because that'll make somebody upset, or I don't want to trigger this person, or this is not safer. We just have so much that we need to navigate, and our nervous systems are not set up to do this without support. So the 5 sutras are incredibly powerful wisdom that has been passed down to us from ancient technologies and ancient teachings. Now, it might seem like something so old doesn't have a place in our time now, but it was designed specifically, these 5 sutras in particular were designed specifically for this shift of time that we are in. We are finding ourselves, if not already in it, at the beginning of a change of age. So every 2100 years, the Earth moves into a different zodiac sign, and with that comes the energy of that constellation. We are now moving in and beginning the age of Aquarius, which is all about creating systems to allow us to become more unified in our experience. We move from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, and with that, there's this friction, this change of energy, and we're seeing it show up in our worlds with all of this chaos, all of this polarity, all of these wild things that are happening. And if you're paying attention to any part of the world around you, when you look around, chances are you're thinking like, what the F is actually happening and how did we even get here? Families are fighting, countries are fighting, the environment is in upheaval. And it can seem like a scary and overwhelming time if you misunderstand what is happening. There is a shift, a revolution in consciousness that is happening, and it is upon us to equip ourselves to be able to handle it, especially if you have any call on your heart, any call in your soul to show up in the world, to serve, and to be a force for good in the times that we're living in. So these 5 sutras, what is a sutra? It is basically just a simple sentence that is encoded with deep and profound wisdom. So these 5 sutras were specifically given for the time of this moment, for the age of Aquarius. They're called the 5 sutras for the age of Aquarius, and it's part of the Kundalini tradition. And now there are 195 other sutras that were written thousands of years ago by the yogi master Patanjali. If you're into yoga, you probably learned about that if you did any teacher trainings before. And those are coded wisdoms that yogis who lived in caves, who didn't have all of the chaos that we have to deal with, codified, because even at that time, people were struggling and living with suffering. The suffering that we experience when we get into our minds, when we forget our divine being, our personal power, our ability to generate and create whatever it is that we want to see in the world. When we forget that, we live in suffering. And so those original 195 sutras were given as a way to, or as a philosophy, to live a fulfilling life beyond suffering, to come back into unification, which is what yoga means, or yoking together of the mind, the body, and the soul to live in harmony. Now, these are incredibly potent and powerful sutras, and if you've done the Hatha tradition of yoga and experienced or heard any of those, you probably even use them in your day-to-day without knowing, then you understand how powerful just a simple phrase or a word to live by can be when you're in a challenging moment. Coming into the time that we're living in now, Kundalini Yoga was packaged in a way that was brought over into the Western Hemisphere to deal specifically with the shift in times. While Patanjali's sutras are still incredibly relevant and incredibly powerful, we needed even more to be able to navigate the wild times that were ahead of us. And this is information that was given to us many, many years ago. So now is the time to start using it, because we are seeing our world just in chaos. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. But it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It is actually a beautiful indication that things are shifting, that things are changing. And the things that we want to see changed begin with us. In every civilization, in every society, it is the people who have the power to make the change. Individually first, and then as a collective. So if you want to be the ripple of positive effect in your world, in your family, in your work, in your life, it's incumbent upon you, it is your responsibility to increase your capacity to hold all of the wild energy that is around us, and to utilize tools and skills that you can come back to so that you can release the anxiety, you can release the pressure, you can release the overwhelm, and come back into your true knowing. To come back into your innate wisdom, your divine self, and lead from that place. We're moving away from needing other people to tell us what's right and wrong, and we need to come back into our hearts to decipher for ourselves what feels like truth for us individually. And when we are in alignment with the truest part of ourselves, which is what I call your soul, which is that divine aspect that is continuous and connected to the entire universe, that is when we are able to move through the world and be a beacon and a pillar of light and hope for everyone. And I have to say that it's not necessarily for everyone that we do this for. It is for ourselves first. It is so that we can experience what it is to be us, a human incarnated in this form, but living in peace, living in our purpose, living our fullest potential, allowing ourselves to experience everything that is meant for us. And so by diving into the deep wisdom contained inside of the 5 sutras and embodying that information in ourselves through really powerful and unique Kundalini activations, it's my hope that by offering this experience of the 5 sutras, you'll be able to have that feeling for yourself, you'll be able to have that wisdom for yourself and tune back into it as you live and as you move through the world, so that you're no longer operating from this place of stress, this place of overwhelm, reacting out of insecurity and fear, but you are in a continuous and contained expression of the light that is available to each and every one of us. You become a beacon for what humanity can become, and in that way, you fulfill your ultimate purpose. That's the way that you experience success on every level, by really coming into alignment with your truth, by understanding that within you are simple ways to reconnect to that place. Just using your body, using your breath, using your mind, you can come into alignment with that higher truth and elevate everyone around you by radiating that energy. So it is my deepest hope that you join me inside of the 5 sutras. We are starting on Monday. Registration for it closes tomorrow, Friday. I don't know what the number day is. What day is it today? Let me just see. Friday the 7th. So you have until Friday, tomorrow, at 11 p.m. PST to jump in. It is at an incredibly accessible price, but it is that price for a limited time. So you can find all the information in the link inside of my bio. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. But truly, it's my hope that by recognizing our own power, by recognizing our own divinity, and by recognizing our own light, and living from that place, projecting that out into the world instead of our insecurity, our overwhelm, our stress, the struggles that we're facing, and projecting more of that concern and fear into the world, when we can tune back into the light that is within us and we can elevate that frequency so that it is stable, so that it's consistent, so that we are living from a courageous heart, that is how we change the world. That is how we make known the glorious manifestation that is our purpose. That is how we use our life for a legacy instead of just for survival. So with that being said, I'm sending you off with the most love in my heart. Thank you to those who are here joining me live. Thank you to those who are catching the replay. Let me know that you were able to tune into this by just dropping a little emoji into the comments when you do watch the replay. And I will see you inside of the 5 sutras. Bye.